Howdy folks, Trappin' Fool here this morning. Last night was range night at league night at Second Amendment Arms here in New Carlisle. Figured since I dirtied up my pistol last night shooting it, I'd do a video on cleaning the Glock real quick for you. New product that I started using a couple months ago that I'm really impressed with is a reassemble. They've got a bore and bolt cleaner, the oil. They also have a hog grease that I started using on my ARs. Really impressed with this stuff. It stays on the weapon a long time. Really protects it. So, anyways, enough on that stuff. Gonna get into the cleaning the Glock here. I shoot a 17. First thing you do is make sure it stays. Something else with the Glocks that I want to point out to everybody is I see a lot of people at leagues and stuff. They'll put their hand over here and catch it around like this. That's a bad thing to do, because what can happen is if you look in here, hopefully you can see, it's the ejector right here, that pin sticking out. What happens sometimes is when you do that, the round doesn't let the round come out, and a primer will actually detonate on that in your hand. Just a safety thing there to keep in mind. Stay away from it. Let it come out and hit the ground wherever it is, if there is a round in it. But make sure it's clean. Nothing in there, it's clear. Pinch it like this here. Put your thumb in here and grip just a little bit. That will let you push the rods down there. Drop the hammer, slides right off. This is as far as you need to tear a weapon down. You got your recoil spring, your barrel, your slide, and your lower. These usually don't need too much. I'll take a dry brush, just kind of brush out some of the chunks normally. If it does get to a point where you've shot a lot of rounds through it, believe it or not, I just use hot soapy water, Dawn and hot water. Clean it all out with a toothbrush and soak it and clean it all out real good. And then I blow dry it. We'll clean it all out for you. But I didn't shoot but maybe 50 rounds in it last night, so it's not that bad. So that's pretty good there. The slide looks pretty good. The barrel, what I'm going to do first, I'm going to give it a couple shots here. Let that stuff soak down into there real good, and I set that off to the side, let it soak. Of course, I forgot a rag. Let me grab a rag real quick. With the slide, what I do, put a little bit of stuff in there with a toothbrush, or any kind of brush for that fact. I save most of my old toothbrushes. Clean it off real good here. And that fell out because I have a different guide rod or spring in there, recoil. Absorbs a little bit. Looks pretty good. My bag of tricks here. Basically all I'm doing is getting some of these nooks and crannies out, cleaned up where the rag won't reach. I've went probably 1,500 rounds on this gun and not cleaned it just to see how bad it'd do. It never failed me once. Did real good. So one of the important things here is a lot of people like to spray oil and stuff all over this. What happens is it gets down inside of here and keeps everything from working. It'll actually gum up after a while. You get oil in there, it starts grabbing dust and gunpowder residue and everything, and it'll bind it up, so you'll start having problems. Alright, that's as far as I go on that right now. Just field stripping, that's all you need to do. If you need to take it any farther, you need to take it to an armor or a gunsmith. Let them work on it. They'll tear it all the way down and clean it if it needs a detailing. Alright, back to the barrel here. Clean this up. Use a toothbrush down here. Oh, that's shiny and pretty again. Get all that out of there. Dry it off. Then I love these boar snakes. Boar snakes, there's some new ones, dragon tails I believe it's called. They just work awesome when you don't catch your rag in it. There we go. Pull it right through there. Cleans that barrel right out. There we go. That should be nice and pretty. Nice and shiny in there. Alright. Looks like we got this thing cleaned as far as we need to do it. Got most of the stuff out of here. This looks nice and clean. And a couple spots there where it's still a little damp. Dry that off. That looks good. Alright. Now, places I oil on my lower here. I'm trying to get into the camera here where you can see. Try to point it out with the oil bottle here. Right here is the disconnect. You see where this trigger bar slides here? Right here, and the disconnect here is where a drop of oil needs to go. So I get one drop of oil in there. And work it back and forth in there, let it work in. One thing I've found with these Glocks is if you're shooting, doing a whole lot of shooting, all of a sudden the trigger gets gritty or it's not feeling right, pull it apart, drop oil in there, and it fixes a problem 99% of the time. That gets gritty in there. Alright. Whoa. Got a little excited there. Alright. Put a little oil on here. Way too much, by the way. It just takes a little drop in your finger is all it takes. But the barrel needs to be oiled. Just a light coat, and I'm actually going to wipe this off when I'm done here. And then I always wipe the slide down too, just for a little extra protection on it. But you can see I've got enough oil on my hands that I'm doing my whole gun with it. It doesn't take a whole lot of oil. Something with this Rand CLP I've figured out too is it takes up to a couple times, and actually if you go the first time you do it, go on real heavy with it, let it sit for a little bit, and then do it again, wipe it off, dry it off, and then do it again. It soaks in and it absorbs into the metal awesome, and it's all biodegradable, and it's good on the environment. So alright, that looks pretty good. Got a little extra, I'll do it on here just to make it easier to clean. A little on here. I'll try and dry my hands off a little bit, get some of that excess moisture off. Alright, dry this barrel down again. Do the outside. Alright, looking good. Alright, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a drop right here. I'm going to rub it in a little bit. It's one of the spots where it slides in the slide itself. Just a little extra protection there. And I think I'm going to put a couple drops here and try this again. There we go. That looks a lot better. That's about all the oil I use on my barrels. I don't go way over with it. Nice light coat in there. You can see it shining in there. Looks good there. Let's put that back in. Plunger. In case people get confused here, the plunger side here, that goes to the outside here, or towards the end. And then it always gets pushed down into the bottom slot here. If you don't do that, your slide will lock. It won't go back and you'll have issues. A lot of times you'll have to send it back into the factory to get it opened up. Alright, we oiled that. I'm going to put a drop on each of these rail guides here. Actually, I used that hog grease in there the last time and it worked in pretty good, but just a light thing of oil there. Alright, we got it back together. Function test it, fires, reset works, fires, doesn't push off, everything looks good. There you go, all clean, ready to go for the next time. So, hope you learned something from this, hope it was helpful. Until next time, we'll see you later. Trapping Fool, we'll talk later.